Bill O'Reilly here. Welcome to the No Spin News for Thursday, June 2nd, 2022. Stand up for your country, a country that has a lot of problems. And we all know that. Every country does. But we have a president who cannot solve any of them. And that is unsettling, to say the least, and that is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. Excuse my voice here. I think it's a little hay fever or pollen thing. A little frog down there having a good time in my throat. But we'll get through it. So, no progress on inflation, gas prices, COVID transmissions, peace in Ukraine, illegal border crossings, narcotic smuggling, or violent crime. No progress at all. Joe Biden been president now a year and a half. Nothing. Every single situation has gotten worse. But we do have a new environmental justice office. Yay! Environmental justice office is just announced. So what is that? Put it up on the screen, and for those of you listening on the radio, I will describe it. The plan will identify priority actions and strategies to best address environmental injustices and health inequities for people of color and disadvantaged, vulnerable, low-income, marginalized, and indigenous populations, unquote. So it's another equity play, and I want to help everybody. But environmental injustice only targeted at those groups, not environmental injustice toward Caucasians. That's okay. You can spew carbon monoxide at me all day long, fine, but not at those other folks. More divisiveness in the country. This is Joe Biden, his whole situation. Now, I'm not cutting him any slack, but the president has no idea what this is. None. He doesn't know. He's incapable of knowing. And that is very frightening. So the goal of this, as the country burns and Mr. Biden can't solve any of the enormous problems that affect all of us, the goal of this selected environmental justice situation is to give money, taxpayer dollars, to those selected groups. All right, that's the goal of all of this, is to take America's resources, taxpayer dollars, and give it to people whom the far left deserves the money. Okay, and that does not include white working class people. So it's a racial thing all day long. You know it is. Everybody knows it is. But again, this is what his whole philosophy. So when you have the Democratic Party actively working to divide the country on skin color, and yeah, all right, I'll give you lower income people of all colors should get a safety net, and the Democratic Party favors that. But it's far more than a safety net. It's, we're going to send you a check. And that check's going to come from other Americans who are working hard. They're going to send it to you, and it's going to be based on skin color primarily. No, that's not how you run a country of 330 million people. So the groups that are enumerated in this, again, people of color, vulnerable, low income, marginalized, indigenous, they are joined by the undocumented foreign nationals who have streamed into the country under Biden, about 3 to 4 million of them here under Biden. They'll get the money as well because they're in the vulnerable category. But they'll never say that. Biden will never say that because I think that might be illegal. I think somehow they're giving American taxpayer dollars to undocumented people who've broken the law by coming in here. That's really tenuous. But it'll happen. It's happening right now in states like California and New York. Okay, So think about this. This is a very important topic for you, the American citizen, to understand. We have a president who is not governing the whole country. Okay? He is governing on the basis of skin color and, to a lesser extent, marginalized people, LGBTQ, all of that. That's how he's governing, not rolling it together, let's provide a safety nets, but try to make everybody prosper. It's really ironic that Donald Trump so hated, his economic policies benefited everybody. Everybody. And that's a matter of fact. Yet the progressive left would never get him anything because he did not break it out on skin color. Trump didn't do that. With Biden, that's 100% of what he does. So this is another just ruse, this new Environmental Justice Office, OEJ, if you want to apply for a job there, to advance socialism and to create a dual-tier society. They talk about white privilege. That's a myth, okay? This is now underdog privilege. Maybe that's the right word. And, people say, well, it's justified because for all these centuries, the African Americans have been deprived. And it's true. It's true. But if you are going to try to now disunite the country on the basis of past historical injustice, you're going to have a big mess, and that's what we have. A big mess. And that is the memo. So the president today didn't do anything. He's exhausted from, I guess, yesterday, a pretty big schedule. So he met with NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg to discuss the NATO summit in Madrid at the end of June. Another meeting, a lot of discussions. But this caught my eye at 5:30 on a Thursday today. He leaves for Rehoboth, Delaware for another 3-day weekend. However, he didn't have the holiday last Memorial Day weekend because he was doing the ceremonies at the cemeteries and things like that. But now he's off for a nice 3-day weekend at his beach house in Delaware. Meanwhile, back at the polling ranch, 3 polls here. Actually, they are composite polls. I think this is more fairer to do it in a composite way because some of these polls are crooked. Maybe most of them are. But here's the Real Clear Politics composite. Joe Biden job approval, 40.7 approve, 54 disapprove. That is huge, huge. On the economy, the Real Clear average has it 35.5 approve, 64 disapprove. Enormous. Direction of the country, Real Clear average composite poll, 22.7 right direction. Who are these people? And 70.3% wrong. I've never seen a number like that in my entire career. So again, I will tell you that this cannot be overcome. So the midterms will go the Republicans' way. Now, as many of you have pointed out in emails, if the Republicans can screw it up, they will. And the press will try every dirty trick in the book. And there will be some voter fraud. I don't think on a mass level. Again, that's up to the states. But there will be some. But now everybody's watching for that. It's not going to be as easy. So November is not going to be a good month for Joe Biden or the Democratic Party. And here is the reason why. So yesterday, Mr. Biden was speaking about baby formula. There's another in the long line of problems the Biden administration didn't anticipate. Pete Buttigieg, the worst. Okay, he's unbelievable. Transportation Secretary, no clue what he's doing. It's better if he does not show up for work, Buttigieg. So Biden's at the baby formula thing. Biden doesn't know why there's no baby formula. He has no clue. But here's what he says. Go.
There's a lot going on right now, but the idea we're going to be able to, click a switch, bring down the cost of gasoline is not likely in the near term, nor is it with regard to food.
So it's like, I don't know what to do. Remember that comedian Sam Kinison, heavy guy with a little beret? Part of his shtick was when he said something stupid, he would scream like, okay? And he did it in a very funny way. That's what I feel like doing to Biden. After he says something like this, it's your fault. You did it. And now you're going, we can't bring it down. We don't know how to bring it down. You did it. You. Under Trump, inflation was 1.4%. Under Biden, it's going to hit 11% in a year and a half. You did it. By pumping trillions of dollars that wasn't needed, printing that money and putting it into circulation. Of course, that's going to drive everything up. The dollar isn't worth as much. And then attacking the fossil fuel gas industry and inhibiting production and harvesting of oil. Of course, gas prices are going up, you fool. And I hate to do that. I don't want to be disrespectful to the office, but this is absurd. He did it. Putin didn't do it. This was well on its way before Putin invaded Ukraine. And those are facts. I get mail all the time. It says, well, my brother-in-law or my daughter. Look, again, people believe what they want to believe. And no matter how many facts that I present or you present, they're not going to change their mind because they're not capable of it. I avoid those people. I don't engage them. Once I see irrationality, it's by. I'm not mean, all right? But I'm not going to waste my time talking to people who won't accept reality and the facts. That's why I would have a very hard time talking to Joe Biden. Because the man isn't in the real world. Well, we don't click a switch. We can't. You did it. Well, at least he's telling the truth. He doesn't know how to get out of it. Inflation now at its highest level in 40 years. Interest rates skyrocketing. A recession may loom. Our retirement accounts are in real danger. If you want to protect your future, do what I did. Call the only precious metal dealer I trust, American Hartford Gold. They can show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts by diversifying your portfolio with physical gold and silver. All it takes to get started is a short phone call, and they will have physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or put inside your IRA or 401k. They are the highest rated firm in the country, A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, and thousands of satisfied clients. Plus, tell them O'Reilly sent you, and they'll give you up to $2,500 of free silver on your first order. So don't wait. Please call now, 877-444-GOLD, 877-444-GOLD, or text GOLD to 65532. Again, that's 877-444-GOLD or text GOLD to 65532. All right, Sussman acquitted. Now what? This is the Durham investigation. There's no question the Hillary Clinton campaign concocted a Russian collusion narrative, sold it to the FBI, trying to derail Trump's candidacy and then his presidency. That happened. It's beyond any doubt that it happened. But the messenger, Sussman, was acquitted because the case wasn't airtight and the liberal jury in D.C. wanted a way to find a way to acquit him, just like the OJ jury did in L.A. Same thing. That jury was looking for a reason to acquit Simpson. They were looking for a reason to acquit Sussman, and the testimony of the star witness was different, so there was the reason. Okay, There's another trial coming up. The guy's name is Igor Danchenko, a Russian who lives in the United States. Okay? Now, Danchenko was the guy who allegedly fabricated the so-called Steele dossier. All right, he's in the middle of that. Trump did this, Trump did that, in Russia, blah, blah, blah. None of it was true. And Danchenko peddled it. So now he's going to be on trial in October. He's charged with 5 counts of lying to the FBI. He's pleaded not guilty. Who's paying Danchenko's law? That's the key to all of this, as I said yesterday. Who paid Sussman's bills? Who's behind it? I don't know if we'll ever know, but Durham should be able to get that. That's the key piece of information. So we'll watch it. October is the trial date. Tulsa, another shooting. All right, not going to be any coverage on this because it's an African American. African American went into a hospital, killed 4 people. The guy's name is Michael Lewis, 45 years old, from Muskogee, Oklahoma. He had a back problem. His doctor, Preston Phillips, another African American, was not, in his opinion, Lewis's opinion, doing the right thing. Lewis went in and shot Dr. Phillips and 3 other people dead in the hospital. All right. He purchased a AR-15 rifle yesterday. So he bought the rifle in Oklahoma, and then he took it right to the hospital and killed 4 people. So you're not going to see much coverage on that. Now, it's a white guy killing a black doctor everywhere. You know it. I know it. I have some gun stats for you. Now, this is interesting because there's a lot of lying going on all over the place about USA and guns. Now, we do have a big problem. If you don't think we do, then you believe what you want to believe. See, you're in the same category. There's a big problem with guns here. Huge. So, in the 10-year period, 2010 to 20, all right, there were 400,000 Americans killed as a result of firearms. 400,000. All right, 244,000 suicide, 146 homicide, 5,500 legal intervention, which means some kind of beef with law enforcement. That's an astronomical number in a country of 330 million, 400,000. Now, the reason we have that high number is because we've always had the right to bear arms in this country, and no other country has that built into their constitution. So when the far left pinheads say, America, the other countries don't have that because they didn't need it. We did. We fought a revolution, and then we had foreign powers coming in here. And then we had Native American tribes clashing with the settlers. And then we had a huge wild apparatus where there were bears and lions, mountain lions, and all that. So everybody had a gun. And it was built into the Constitution because founding fathers feared a military takeover or a coup d'etat and a dictator. So they said, no, we're going to let the folks arm themselves everywhere so that won't happen. So people could rise up armed. Do we all understand that history lesson? Because many people do not. Okay, so 400,000 over a 10-year period is a lot of dead people by firearms. By race, African Americans, 101,000 killed in a 10-year period, more than 90,000 male. So you can see this is a man problem. White, 248,000 killed, 240,000 of them white men. Asian, Pacific Islander, Alaskan, Hispanic, Native American, 38,000 killed. And their numbers are far less, of course. There are right now an estimated 400 million firearms circulating in the United States. So even a ban of anything isn't going to really matter. And then when you ban, the black market for the AR, whatever you ban, goes crazy. Those guns will still be available, you just have to pay for them. And the criminals will. They will. Nancy Pelosi knows that. She doesn't care. Okay. Last year, 20 million guns purchased in the USA, and the year before, 23 million. You know, people are afraid. They're afraid. And as I said, if you live in New York City, the climate of fear is, with 16 million people in the New York metropolitan area, you've got to regulate firearms. You have to. It's too many people. But if you're in Wyoming at 500,000, and you have all kinds of, nature threats and things like that, and law enforcement, you're not going to get protected. It's a reactive. In Wyoming, they're good folks, but it's a huge rural area. You need protection. So you don't have the same laws in Wyoming as you do in New York City. That makes sense to everybody? Oy. So Pelosi says that she's going to introduce a ban of military-style assault weapons. She knows not going to pass. She knows the Republicans in the House are not going to do that. Knows it. In the Senate, I should say. Republicans in the House won't do it either, but there's more Democrats, so they can get it passed in the House, never get passed in the Senate. And then she wants a nationwide red flag law. That's just stupid. Has to be done state by state. Again, the difference between Wyoming and New York. You've got to do it differently. The states have to regulate that. So Pelosi knows she's not going to get this through, but then wants a campaign issue to blame the Republicans for any gun violence. We didn't care whether the problem's solved because, as I said, I'm not going to repeat it again. If you federalize all drug crimes, that will solve much of the problem. But Pelosi's never going to do that, because too many minority citizens would be put in jail and prosecuted if the Congress did that. So they won't. If it was all whites and no minority factor at all, they'd pass that in a heartbeat. Okay, so I'm not expecting any kind of government action that's going to make any difference in this horrible, horrible climate of violence in the United States. I hope I'm wrong. So this is unbelievable. So even in the face of the kids being shot, dead in Texas, and all of this other, California passes a bill, SB 1273. Okay? Now it awaits a vote by the Assembly. All right, so the state Senate passed it. Assembly has to pass it. Newsom will sign it. The bill says that school officials will no longer have to report students to law enforcement if they expel a metallic projectile, such as a BB or a pellet, if they use a marker gun, a razor blade, or a box cutter to threaten people in school. They don't have to be reported, according to this bill. Why? Because kids, this is according to the bill's sponsor, Stephen Bradford, quote, kids should feel comfortable and not traumatized at school. So it's okay then for a kid to have a box cutter and threaten to carve up another kid's face, right, Senator Bradford? And you don't report the box cutter kid to the police. You just wait until he gets an AR and mows down the whole class. Right, Senator? You idiot. You fool. And this is California, the largest state in the union. You think they want to protect children? No, they don't. They don't. Oh, geez. And I guarantee you, watching me on TV, listening to me on the radio, you will not hear that story reported anywhere. If you own a home or property, here are 2 reasons you never want to become the victim of home title fraud. Reason 1, when a cyber criminal worms his way onto your home's title, he'll take out loan after loan using your home's equity. Then he'll vanish, leaving you to prove you didn't commit the fraud. Reason 2, you could be a victim of home title fraud and not know it for months. No agency notifies you or asks if you sold your home or added someone to the title. You'll find out when the collection calls start coming for loans you never took out. Nobody knows about how to help stop this crime more than Home Title Lock, America's trusted leader. I urge you to go to HometitleLock.com, read the testimonials from retired FBI agents and others, Then register your home address to see if you are already a victim. And when you protect your home, tell them Bill sent you for 30 free days of protection. So please go to HomeTitleLock.com, HomeTitleLock.com. So here is the final thought of the day. I'm sure with glee and mirth, M-I-R-T-H, the New York Times announced yesterday that Killing the Killers #1 again for the week of June 12th. So they're ahead by about 2 weeks, the New York Times on their list. So this is quite an achievement because I don't have any corporate backing. Now, my publisher, Macmillan, St. Martin's Press, they help. Yeah. But I'm not on the corporate media programs. They're blackballing me. And, so we're doing this directly to the folks. And this proves my hypothesis that you hold the true power in this country. Okay? You don't need the corporations. If there's a product that you like, that will get out. Now, Killing the Killers, the best-selling book in the United States of America, which means it's the best-selling book in the world, as no other country comes close to our publishing industry. And it has been since its debut on May 3rd. And it's now June 2nd. And that's not because of Jimmy Fallon or Kimmel or The View or the morning shows. You're not going to see me there. They don't like me. And I don't like them very much, to be honest. So it's you guys, word of mouth, that's driving it. And I can't thank you enough. I'm in this business to help you, to bring you the best news analysis I could possibly bring you. We're expanding, as you know, like crazy everywhere. But to have Killing the Killers dominate book selling in the United States, that's something. And it's you. I wrote a good book, and Martin Dugard and I wrote a good book. It's good. But you guys are driving it, and I thank you very much. We'll have a new column Sunday New, and we will see you again on Monday. Thank you for watching and listening on radio to the No Spin News. If you are stuck in a timeshare and you haven't called Lone Star Transfer yet, what are you waiting for? Lone Star Transfer has helped more than 16,000 happy customers. They are family-owned, have a 99% success rate. Their process is done legally, ethically, and quickly. I mean, does it get better than that? The team at Lone Star Transfer will keep you informed every step of the way until you are legally and permanently released from your timeshare. So don't pay another penny for a timeshare you don't use. Get peace of mind today with Lone Star Transfer. They guarantee the release of all liability to your timeshare in writing and in a specific time frame. Give Lone Star Transfer a call for a free no-obligation consultation. 855-551-7066, 855-551-7066, or online at LoneStarTransfer.com.
Bill O'Reilly is back on TV and only on The First. No Spin News, every weeknight at 8 p.m. Eastern, only on The First.